police on our show on Good Day New York the other morning, and he talked about that they're recruiting kids to go out there and commit crimes in Times Square. And I'm talking about robbing, stealing, you name it. And some of these kids are 8 and 11 years old. And they've been through the system several times. And because New York is a sanctuary city and we've gotten all these bail reforms, these kids are just basically in and out with no repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Slumdog Millionaire stuff, but it is happening to kids in big cities in America, too. Kids come here with no one. There's not the resources to take care of them and make sure that, they're getting to school. I assume there's some sort of vague supervision, right? What do they do with these kids? Who's watching them?
That is a good question. The other day, the city council held a hearing because apparently New York has the third highest amount of unaccompanied young people living here. I don't know. How are these kids going to school? For all we know, they're not going to school. They're in Times Square stealing and robbing because, the cartels have basically hired them to do their dirty work.
What do people say about, are things back home so bad, or is the perception that things are so good here that you can make your fortune?
Interesting. We talked to a number of migrants, and I said, would you have come to New York City if we did not give you free shelter and blah, 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 everything free? And she said, no.
Of course not.
All of them said no when asked. The free shelter is a big deal. And New York City, on top of that, not only free shelter, but you come here, you can commit a crime and you're not in trouble because we're a sanctuary city, right? Yeah. So the police don't have to notify ICE to deport you if you've committed a crime.
Talk about the coyotes and how that whole system works and how some people pay their way to get here, and some get not an insubstantial amount of money. That some people spend a lot of money just to get here, figuring they'll make it back down the road, I guess, or that they're just fleeing something. But then they're stuck. They're almost in this sort of indentured servitude, and some of that involves crime.
And I have to say, that is part of our documentary, The Underground Economy. They come here, most likely they owe someone, and it's usually a few $1,000s. So when they come here, how are they going to pay back these guys? These guys want to be paid back, or at least see some show of faith, right? So that's why, they then are some of the people that are accused of being on mopeds, stealing cell phones. There was this great big group of people who were hired by this coyote to go and steal cell phones, and when they get the cell phones, they take your information, they break into your bank account, and then they go out and sell the cell phone. So this is their way of kind of paying back these coyotes. And it's always very dangerous jobs.
Yeah. Talk about the moped gangs. If it's still a thing.
It's still a thing.
Maybe we should talk about it less, or maybe I'm just hearing less about it, but people literally just ride around on e-bikes or mopeds and snatch stuff.
In every community, jewelry, bags, and cell phones. Cell phones are a hot commodity.
I assume somebody's giving them those bikes.
So what we've learned is they can rent the bikes for $100 to $300 a month.
Okay.
And as you may notice, some of those bikes have no license plate on them, so it's hard to find out who those bikes are. And sometimes these people share bikes. So, I mean, they know how to work the system pretty well. Yeah. And how they can get by.
We know the numbers are down now from what they were, but the people here are still the people here, and like you said, 700 people is not
chump change.
Chump change, yeah.
Yeah, right. Especially when you have a system that's already overtaxed.
Right. Now, look, policy, the barn door is long open. Policy or not, Joe Biden ran on a policy of being softer on immigration, more welcoming, more humane, I guess they would call it. And whether or not people were able to legally get here any easier, there was certainly a perception that, I guess it's okay to come now. And that had to contribute to the numbers.
I think a lot of people will tell you who've come to this country that they felt it was, a welcome mat with the Biden administration. In fact, the New York Times just did a big story about how the Biden administration had a very welcoming approach to the migrants. In fact, there have been more migrants that have come into this country during the Biden administration compared to Trump, 3 times the amount of when Trump was in office. 3 times. And as you know, the Vice President, Harris, she was questioned by Bret Baier about the administration's policy. She tried to blame Trump, and Brett Baer kind of steered her back to how, the president undid some of the policies that Trump had put in place. And then the doors opened.
You've been in New York your whole life, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of worked other places.
Sure.
Yeah, but for
give or take.
Most of my life.
Yeah. And I've been here for more than half of mine, I guess, now. And forget the numbers. Throw that out. Talk about just the vibes and what the city feels like now compared to like the bad old days of crack in 1989.
Okay, so maybe it doesn't feel quite as bad as those days, but it's still bad enough. Like when you walk the streets, you see so many homeless people. You see so many mentally ill people. Now, I'm not blaming that on the Biden administration because that happened during our former mayor, de Blasio, who during COVID decided he was going to open up the hospitals and basically tell every mentally ill person to go have a good time on the streets of New York. And so they're now on the streets of New York. And where are you going to put them?
Right.
When you bring them in, now we have social workers going out there cajoling them to please, we'll find a bed for you. Where are you going to put them?
Yeah.
They don't have enough beds.
One thing I like about this documentary is that it's not like boogeyman immigrants.
No, it's not.
It really does get into the tragedy of it for everybody involved.
It's sad. I mean, it's sad to see these young kids who are on the subways, selling candy to try to help their family, or maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to help themselves stay alive in New York City. Is this really what we've come to?
The real reason I asked you here was not to talk about this documentary, but was to talk about Ransom and your brief appearance just before.
It was a pivotal appearance.
It was a pivotal appearance. This is my point. You set up one of my favorite scenes, one of my favorite monologues in movie history. I fired it up again last night, and I still get the chills. You got any stories?
Yes. It took so Mel Gibson starred in the movie. Mm-hmm. It took a lot of takes for him to get that monologue. It was a very emotional monologue, and as you know, we were part of that pivotal scene. My co-host at the time was Tony Potts, and so we had taken a break so that Mel could kind of like get back into character. And then we couldn't find Tony. Where was Tony? And Tony left his mic on. He was in the bathroom. And everybody now knew Tony was in the bathroom. We got a play-by-play until Tony came back on the set, and then we finished the scene.
Did that, I assume that may have, did that screw up the tension of the scene at all? Or was it a welcome relief?
No, I think it was a welcome relief.
Okay. Rosanna Scotto, host of Good Day New York on Fox 5 in New York, the host of The Underground Economy, available right now, streaming on Fox Nation Markets. Rosanna, good to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hello, everyone. For all of you who suffer from calcium oxalate stones, here is some free advice. Tip 1, drink plenty of water. It takes a lot of water to dilute and pass the substances that lead to stones. Tip 2, modify your diet. You'll need to limit sodium, cut your meat.
Tired of difficult lifestyle changes that often don't work? If you suffer from calcium oxalate stones, now there's help. Kidney Cop, Calcium Oxalate Protector. Add Kidney Cop to your routine as a way to potentially reduce or even stop the formation of calcium oxalate stones. Kidney Cop is a dietary supplement developed by doctors and pharmacists. It's been proven in laboratory tests to reduce the rate of calcium oxalate crystal growth by 99%. That's right, 99%. Just take Kidney Cop. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. You can purchase affordable Kidney Cop today by visiting Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com. Yes, you can start enjoying life again. Purchase Kidney Cop at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com today.
These statements have not been reviewed by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Sponsored by Calcium Oxalate Labs, Inc.
Robert is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
I am Robert Strickler. My wife Joyce and I have been married for 53 years. Certainly one of the really important things in my life are our children and our grandchildren. I am essentially a writer. I've been involved in communications. I've been an avid fly fisherman. I've been taking Prevagen for at least 8 years. For me, the greatest benefit over the years has been that Prevagen seems to help me recall things and also think more clearly, have a crisper ability to remember and think through things. And I enthusiastically recommend Prevagen. It has helped me an awful lot.
Prevagen is available in stores everywhere without a prescription. based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Have you heard all the talk about fresh pet food? Well, at Dogs and Cats Rule, when it comes to fresh, healthy ingredients, we lead the way. Hi, I'm George Parenti, and I'm here to tell you there's nothing better nutrition-wise than fresh food for your pet. Stop in to one of our 7 neighborhood locations and ask our expert staff how a real, fresh, meat-based diet can change your pet's overall health and well-being. Shop online at dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. It happens every day. You can recover. Discover hope and help.
Never give up on yourself.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Fox News. I'm Deborah Valentine. Former President and GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump holding a major campaign rally at Madison Square Garden in New York City, criticizing his opponent, Vice President Harris.
On issue after issue, Kamala broke it, but I will fix it. We're going to fix it.
Former First Lady Melania Trump was a surprise guest. VP and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris campaigning in battleground Pennsylvania.
We are focused on the future, and we are focused on the needs of the American people, as opposed to a Donald Trump who spends full time looking in the mirror, focused on himself.
The latest Fox News poll finding Trump leading Harris by 2 percentage points nationally. America is listening to Fox News.
This is the Fox News Rundown. Now a look at sports.
In the NFL, the Chiefs topped the Raiders 27-20 Sunday to stay undefeated at 7-0. Number 2 overall pick Jaden Daniels topped number 1 pick Caleb Williams with a Hail Mary pass on the final play as the Commanders beat the Bears 18-15. In the NASCAR Cup playoffs, Tyler Reddick used a mad dash on the final lap to beat defending Cup champion Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin to the checkered flag. He joins Joey Logano in the championship race. And Shohei Ohtani expected to play for the Dodgers tonight in Game 3 of the World Series against the Yankees. Ohtani injured his shoulder in LA's Game 2 win. The Dodgers lead that series 2-0. That's your sports on the Fox News Rundown. Tim McMaster, Fox News.
Now an update from Outkick's Hot Mic.
The same damn Browns fans who were saying, you deserve it on Sunday, I guarantee you, were the same Browns fans calling into sports talk radio shows up in Cleveland and shouting down other NFL fans who were saying, you are immoral to play this guy because of what's going on and what he's done. There were a lot of people who had that. There were people picketing the streets. Domestic abuse survivors, rape victims, all picketing Brown Central at the time. And there were Browns fans that were in their dog masks and wearing their jerseys, their Bernie Kosar jerseys, and going on local TV saying, guy's fine. Got no problem with it. We need to forgive and forget everyone. He's our quarterback now. We've made a big move, and we've gone and gotten our guy. That's how Browns fans felt in the moment. So I do want to make one thing clear on this. They're saying that because he sucks as a quarterback. I'm Chad Withrow with Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow on the Fox News Rundown.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
I received a kidney transplant at Virtua Health.
Transplants are some of the most complex procedures in medicine.
I thank them for keeping me alive.
We are the only transplant center in South Jersey.
And Virtua is one of the best centers in the country for minimally invasive orthopedic surgery.
I had the hip replacement of the future. I'm back, baby.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
Imagine a world where animals and humans coexist in harmony, where wild animals thrive, habitats are protected, and marginalized communities are empowered. At International Animal Rescue, this is our vision. Our holistic, community-led projects not only rescue animals, but also protect and replenish precious habitats, creating a better future for us all. But we can't do this without you. Show your support now and help keep the wild, wild. Visit internationalanimalrescue.org.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest, through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-481-4455. 800-481-4455. That's 800-481-4455.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor. Every Saturday afternoon at 5, I talk with doctors and medical specialists from around the country to discuss the latest information about heart disease, cancer prevention, topics in women's health, pediatrics, mental health, and more. Then you can make better decisions for yourself and your loved ones. Your radio doctor, Saturdays at 5, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, because your health is your wealth.
It's lunch with the coaches. Walk the red carpet, enjoy a fabulous lunch, and meet and greet the Big Five coaches and other sports celebrities at the 12th Annual Coaches vs. Cancer Preseason Luncheon, Tuesday, October 29th at the Hilton City Avenue. Hosted by NBC Sports Philadelphia's Amy Fadul, with special guest panelists and Philly Hoops media legend Dana O'Neill. It's the Coaches vs. Cancer Preseason Luncheon, benefiting the American Cancer Society, Tuesday, October 29th. For info and tickets, visit phillycbc.org. That's phillycbc.org.
With Cybersecurity Awareness Month winding down, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. These updates are used to patch up security issues that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to your personal info. But for comprehensive identity theft protection, there's LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal info and fixes identity theft issues that arise. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use my name as your promo code, Clay.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Well, how about this? Start a PI Dental Center with decades of experience in complex dental treatment, and I've been a patient of PI Dental for 20 years. Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, they're board-certified prosthodontists. They specialize in the restoration and replacement of teeth, and PI Dental Center are the originators of the teeth in a day. It's a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth and implants placed for a dramatic transformation in a mere one day. So visit PIDentalCenter.com. That's PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute have formed a powerful alliance. Legends in Caregiving New Jersey families, the most sophisticated heart team in America. Innovators in research and patient care who've made life better for thousands of patients, raising the standard for the next generation of care. The alliance between Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute means the highest quality care close to home for you. DemandDeborah.org.
You're a winner this winter when you play Borgata's Winning Wonderland. From now through December 28th, earn entries in slot and table games for your stake in over $1 million in prizes, including 2 2025 Land Rover Range Rovers, each valued at over $150,000. Drawings take place every Saturday with grand prize drawings on November 30th and December 28th. For details, visit theborgata.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Monday, October 28th. It is indeed Kayal and Company, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app, and of course streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we head until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number. On social media, at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Don Stendlin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Phil Almquist, Jimmy Kelly, our associate producers. Another weekend in the books and just 8 days away until the election coming up next Tuesday, November 5th. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Feels like we just saw each other on Friday.
That
weekend flew by, did it not?
It did. So much going on.
Holy smokes. Stalker.
Thank God we're live and local all day long, because there's zero chance we're getting everything in today. Zero chance.
I'm just going to hand my stack off to Dawn at 10, and hey, whatever I don't get to, feel free to throw in whatever you want to do.
I just sent Phil Almquist cut 36, and I have like about 10 more.
Okay, so we'll start that sucker around 6:43 this morning,
my Lord. Yeah.
Which is fine by me. It's basically what we did on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Up until the debate, the mock debate. And by the way, A big shout out to all of you that came out Friday in West Berlin, New Jersey. I don't know about you guys, but I would say the day from beginning to end was damn near an A+.
A+.
Right?
A+.
I mean, Esty, once we got her little setup under control about, 7 minutes into that, what felt like an hour-long debate?
Well, it was an hour-long debate.
Well, yeah, you're right, it was. Yeah. Farish pulls out the word salad fork.
Yeah. By the way, it is right now the most viewed thing that we've ever done, the station's ever done on YouTube. So
what a good job. And so many nice people. Big thanks to Wayne Bonfiglio, West Berlin, NJFOP, Lodge number 56, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Just a great time. Great food, the Bloody Marys, the mimosas, the people that stuck around. Just a great time, top to bottom. In fact, it was so good that the big boss, is out there posting thank yous and success stories on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to get a little attention.
Who knew LinkedIn was still a thing?
I did. I saw the notification come across.
Yeah.
All right, we got a lot of good stuff to get to today. Donald Trump making his closing argument over the last 72 hours. We've got the Madison Square Garden rally to get to. We've got the Joe Rogan podcast that was 3 hours long with Trump to get to. We've got a joke that might have missed the mark, at least in the eyes of the mainstream media. Does it have any impact? Probably not, but we'll talk about it.
It totally missed the mark.
Oh, I know. I've been in those settings.
What was he thinking?
I've been in those spots where I say something.
That's what he does, Dawn. Like that's his shtick.
Okay.
Maybe Dawn and I are on the same page today with this one. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later.
Denounced by the Trump campaign very quickly.
Very quickly.
And by the way, the GOP in Florida quickly came out to, like, Rick Scott came out, and there was another representative that was just like, nope, doesn't represent what we think.
Nope, damage control, clean up, aisle 3.
Yeah.
We got a big spill. Bring a mop and a bucket while you're at it. The Washington Post says no endorsement for Kamala Harris.
Or anybody.
Ever. Which is interesting because they were ready to do it, and it looks like an edict from the boss man came down and squashed that.
Guys, I wanted to let you know that I was waiting to figure out who to endorse once the Washington Post gave their endorsement, and now they're not. I just don't know what I'm going to do.
Might have to sit it out.
I might have to,
we might have to sit it out.
Now that the Washington Post is not. Does anybody read these endorsements and say, wow, well...
Apparently so.
Okay.
Yeah, Bad Bunny came out last night. Who? Yeah, Bad Bunny. I still don't know who Bad Bunny is. I've seen him at wrestling once.
Bad Bunny's the guy who was late. Isn't that Bad Bunny that was late and Jay-Z spanked him and said he couldn't perform here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Well, he came out because of the Puerto Rican joke.
Yes. So that set him off.
Puerto Rico joke, I should say. Sorry.
Yes. So we won't have to do our bunny power rankings later in the show. I've got the Energizer Bunny, I've got the Easter Bunny, and I've got Bad Bunny. 1, 2, and 3.
And the former Sixers mascot Bunny.
That's true. What was his name? Hip Hop, right? Back in the Iverson days. And by the way, the Eagles get a victory yesterday.
Eagles! Hey, by the way, you both owe me. Well, you both owe the Travis Manning Foundation $40 because we rolled it over from last week.
Yeah, so. I was way off the mark.
Yeah. Once again,
looked good in the first quarter though, didn't it?
Yeah. When are you people going to realize that I'm very good at predictions? I'm very good at predictions.
That's why you got the FanDuel.
People may not like it, but I'm good at predictions.
FanDuel might have to cut you off. You're going to bankrupt them.
Thank you.
You're going to steal all their money. Plus a Montgomery County bomb threat and Pennsylvania voter fraud. And that's all today. Well, at least that's the plan. We'll see how much we get to.
We're already off the rails at 6:06.
Yeah, it's already 6:06.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right to it. Dawn Stensland, round number 1 of the news. Take it away, dear.
And good morning. 6 a.m. news sponsored this morning by Wawa in Kayal and Company News Live. We're at a balmy 42 degrees, but I will tell you when it will feel like summer in Philadelphia. So we have Philadelphia police responding to, and this led to a car chase. We'll talk about the breaking news, but in this story, Philadelphia police responding to the 5900 block of Elsinore Street for a missing person over the weekend. And tragically, upon further investigation, officers returned to to find the woman, a mother, killed, wrapped in a blanket and a towel in her garage. So this started with her daughters searching for her, knowing something was wrong, reporting her missing to police. And as they were looking for her, finally they did find her murdered, dead, wrapped in this blanket and so on in her own garage. Homicide investigators looking into this, obviously. No arrests have been made, no weapons found, and police asking anyone with information to please contact them. So this is the lead story this evening. Was it a domestic situation? Was this a stranger? They're looking into all of it, but homicide investigating. We also have one person is in custody after that high-speed police chase in Philadelphia early this morning. So we know at least one person was taken into custody following this high-speed chase in Philadelphia. It's happened in the Ronhurst section of the city. So that pursuit ended in the wee hours of this morning after officers say they stopped the driver in the parking lot of a diner right near Ron Street and the Boulevard. And so we don't know the rest of the details except to say, the person was taken into custody, high-speed police chase, and we don't have any injuries reported. That's the good news there. In other news, in Philadelphia, we do have, unfortunately, we have word of the SEPTA union workers voting to strike amid these contract negotiations. So they are ongoing this morning. Unionized SEPTA workers voting to authorize that strike yesterday. Members of Transport Workers Union, TWU Local 234. This is obviously the largest worker union for SEPTA. They were meeting over the weekend, and yes, they have authorized this strike. So 100% of those in attendance voted in favor of the strike. That's according to TWU, and representatives say not only are they fighting for more pay, but their main concern is safety and security issues. Of course, we've talked a lot about security problems, safety problems, not just for the passengers, but as well, we have had actual SEPTA drivers shot, injured, maimed. We just had remember those two guys who were fare jumpers, what was that, a week or two ago? Mm-hmm. Bus driver does the right thing, gets them off the bus, and they turn and fire upon the bus.
So do we not have SEPTA in action today, or?
We do, but they are saying they authorized the strike vote, and this is the threat of striking.
Yeah.
So they've said, look, we've authorized this thing. You got to get her done.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice that a lot of these SEPTA, any of these labor unions we've seen wisely make sure that their contract is up right before a major election.
So you're saying it's coordinated and timed.
Well, it's just a coincidence, but it's but look, they're smart as far as the union going. So I know that I heard Shapiro's name involved in this thing. Nobody wants this to happen right before, because a lot of people take the bus to vote.
Sure.
So we have that going on. Watching that very carefully as both sides hammer that out. They say that they're ongoing with the talks. And they're saying that as far as SEPTA, they're confident they'll get this done with the goal of reaching the deal very quickly.
I mean, you can look at it both ways. You can sit there and say, well, if you don't like your job, quit. But I mean, does anybody really have an issue with these people trying to fight for more benefits, more pay, more safety, more security? I mean, all you have to do is listen to Dawn's News to realize they're probably in the right for seeking more in a new deal.
Well, we'll find out.
No?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we'll find out. I think that they have they're in a strong position right now with all the violence that has happened for them to say we deserve the safety, and also with it being right before a major election,
right? And
the major mode of transportation within a very blue city is SEPTA.
Yes, correct.
So there's that. Eagles! I walked to the door this morning, and I always say good morning to our awesome security guards who keep us safe in a secure building here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, when they're not sleeping.
And stop! Would you stop?
What?
They're never.
Yeah, it's about 33% of the time they're out cold.
Yeah. They are not. They're pretending to sleep so I don't have to talk to you guys, you meanies. Like, oh, there comes that guy.
Yeah, don't worry, man. I got my badge. I'm good.
No, stop. They were like, good morning. I was like, good morning. It's like, Eagles won. And they were like, yeah, and to sweeten the pot, Dallas also had a losing weekend.
And had a total meltdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So 37-17, a beautiful thing. Everybody was good. I'm happy.
Both of you, please take screenshots of the money that you send to the Travis Manion Foundation and send it to me. Thank you very much.
Will do.
37-17. What was your prediction? I usually write these down.
I had the Bengals by like 3.
What did I have to look up what I said? I said the Eagles would win.
Yeah.
But I can't remember my score.
Oh, wait. I have our scores. Hang on.
Did you write them down?
Of course I did.
Because he's the boss.
The internet's forever.
He's the boss. I said.
Well, I asked Phil to clip it and send it, but he was in New England.
Well, Phil had bigger issues to worry about.
Can I tell you something? I'm living vicariously through Phil Almquist.
So
he had a birthday weekend. He went to a huge concert.
And then he watched
went
his
to
football,
a hockey game.
And then he saw his football team get their face kicked in.
Imagine going all the way to New England to see the awful Jets play awfully.
I know. To play the awful Patriots and lose to the awful Patriots.
But he and his wife had he got his MBA from UConn, went there.
Yep.
He had an amazing week. He and his wife are living the dream, you guys.
I know.
They're having a lot of fun.
Kayal had 23-20 Bengals. I had 34-21 Eagles, almost hitting it exactly on the nose. Dawn had 26-20 Eagles, and Farish had 24-20 Bengals.
Yeah. Sean and I took the L.
Yeah.
So, good job.
By the way, do you guys ever pick
Hang
a...
Hang on.
Smith and Brown out to the far side. Smith.
Hello,
in
Merrill.
the slot. Wing to the near side of the field. Stoll, the wing goes in motion to the opposite side. Shotgun.
So good.
Hurts. Looks. He is rolling. He's looking. He's pumping. He is going deep downfield, and it is caught. Devontae Smith, touchdown! A bomb!
A bomb!
Yeah, you get it to Devontae Smith anywhere.
We got to have Merrill Reese call World War III once it breaks out. Have him do the play-by-play of it. Here comes Putin!
Don't even say that.
Zelensky is backpedaling.
But by the way, since you talked about the Cowboys, they lost last night to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Did you see Nick Bosa at the end?
Yes, he had did he have the gold MAGA hat on?
He did. Phil, can you roll cut 30? Rolling.
In the first half, what was said during halftime? Hey. All right.
Photobombed NBC.
He photobombed the gold Make America Great Again hat. Then he was asked about it in the press conference. Cut 31. Phil, go.
What appeared to be a political statement.
I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's an important time.
There it is.
Yep. Yeah, he's a big Trump guy.
It's funny.
Yeah, both bosses are.
He photobombed and all three of them were like, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's 6:14, 42 degrees. We're headed up to the upper 60s, 67 degrees today. I know we'll talk all about the vice president. Kamala Harris made 3 stops here in Philadelphia yesterday. Trump, it was epic, Madison Square Garden. When Melania came in, my husband said, "What? Are you crying?"
Oh,
I was like,
no.
Get out of here. Oh, it was epic. It was the revolution.
You cried?
Oh, my God. It was amazing.
You cried?
I did. Will you shut up? That's what I said to my husband. It's like, are you crying? I got some in my eye.
Oh, dear Lord.
We've never seen anything like that our nation.
As they did the French ant kiss.
And then
cheek.
I love her accent. She tried to say that they were going to seize the moment, and she goes, and they're going to size the moment.
Look, I'd kill for that accent.
I'd kill for her. But I'm not going to cry for her.
Well, I'll just tell you this. I'll just give you the headline of the weather. Halloween, 80 degrees and a beautiful day. Yeah. Really lovely day, a lovely week ahead. We are set in for some rain on Friday after Halloween and cooler weather, but an incredible day for getting the kiddies out actually on Thursday, Halloween day, for some trick-or-treating. It's going to feel like summertime. Just make sure they don't have like a Cookie Monster costume that's all hot and sweaty, because it's going to be hot. We are sponsored in Kayal Company News Live by Wawa. So you may have heard that Wawa has pizza. I can tell you it's delicious. But did you know that Wawa has pizza at a really great price? Right now, you get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just, is this right? This can't be right. This is like half price any other pizza. $6, $8, or $10.
Wow.
For that large of a pizza.
Man.
That is unbelievable.
Making pizza great again.
Wow, making me hungry right now. Got to have a Wawa. Yeah, 6, 8, or $10 for a huge 14 or 16 incher. Hey, Wawa, thank you for sponsoring us on this beautiful Monday morning Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:17. Let's get to a Monday Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, the Big Take this morning. Donald Trump's closing argument. You know, first impressions go a long way in life, and closing arguments in a political race can seal a victory for you in an election. Donald Trump is making one hell of a strong push as we reach the finish line. And according to Real Clear Politics, Donald Trump has now moved ahead of Kamala Harris in their polling average for the first time since August the 4th. Now, granted, it's only by a tenth of a point, but it's the trends that continue to show one man that is surging and one lady that is either stagnant or is sinking. On this day in history, on the date of October 28th, Donald Trump leads Kamala Harris by a tenth of a point. But if you go back to October 28th of 2020, Joe Biden led by 7.8 points. And on this day in 2016, Hillary Clinton led by 5.4 points. And over the last 72 hours, Donald Trump did a 3-hour podcast with Joe Rogan and then sold out the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris couldn't land a major endorsement from the Washington Post and also pulled another bait and switch with pop sensation Beyonce at a rally in the city of Houston, Texas. Just 8 days to go, and it seems like nothing will change in the final week. Donald Trump will be in Allentown, Pennsylvania tomorrow as he'll hold an event at the PPL Center. Kamala Harris, a rally today at Temple University's Leah Kouros Center with Obama and Springsteen. But the pattern has been consistent now for close to 8 weeks. Trump is surging and Kamala is sinking. Doesn't mean that Kamala Harris can't win the election, but right now all the momentum, all the trends are favoring Donald Trump. And historically, he's far better off today than he was 4 years ago or 8 years ago. But we told you that Kamala's closing argument late last week was Trump is Hitler, and it hasn't stopped. This is what the Democrats are going all in with in the final 10 days before the election. But it has been met with some pushback. Before we get to the pushback, let's start with Hillary Clinton. Yes, she was on Caitlin Collins' show on CNN late Thursday night and had this to say about Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. Listen and watch.
And, you know, one other thing that you'll see next week, Caitlin, is Trump actually reenacting the Madison Square Garden rally in 1939. I write about this in my book. President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists in America were lining up to essentially pledge their support for the kind of government that they were seeing in Germany. So I don't think we can ignore it.
Interesting, in defense of Donald Trump, pushing back to those comments was New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who is now being investigated by the federal government. Why? Well, because of possible bribery, but the reality is he was a man who decided to speak up against the open border and immigration, and Eric Adams coming out over the last 72 hours and saying Donald Trump is not Hitler and Donald Trump is not a fascist. But Hillary Clinton, what a detestable and despicable human being. But those who know what Hitler is really like have hit back, and they've hit back hard. I want to play this for you. This is a 94-year-old Auschwitz Holocaust survivor speaking up about Kamala Harris and the Democrats calling Trump Hitler. This is a very powerful message. Listen and watch this.
My name is Jerry Wartsky. I'm 94 years old and survivor of Auschwitz and the death marches. Adolf Hitler invaded Poland when I was 9 years old. He murdered my parents and most of our family. I know more about Hitler than Kamala will ever know in 1,000 lifetimes. For her to accuse President Trump of being like Hitler is the worst thing I've ever heard in my 75 years living in the United States.
I can't imagine being somebody who survived the Holocaust, knowing how evil Adolf Hitler was, and then hearing this false, toxic, dangerous rhetoric that the left and the media continue to spew. Trump was asked about the Hitler nonsense on the Joe Rogan podcast. Here's what DJT had to say. Listen and watch this.
And the rhetoric is also that you're Hitler, and that in order to stop Hitler, you have to do whatever it takes.
That was okay, yeah.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, you're hearing this now. Kamala compared you to, said your love of Hitler yesterday.
Kamala's a very low IQ person. She's a very low IQ. I'm for taking tests, too. I think anybody that runs for president they should give them tests. And it's not an age thing. It's not based. If you look back on history, 70s and 80s, some of your greatest leaders in the world history, long-time world history, they were in their 70s and their 80s. But I think you should take cognitive tests. I think they say it's unconstitutional. But
that's ridiculous.
I think Kamala should have a test because there's something missing. There's something wrong with her.
Nobody with a functional brain actually believes that Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler. The only ones who do are the mentally ill that will go up to your porch, knock on your door, and yell at you through your Ring doorbell cam for having a Trump sign in your yard. But Axios with a major headline on Friday, quote, Democrats behind the curtain are freaking out over fear that they are blowing it. And how bad are they blowing it? Perhaps so bad that Donald Trump could win the popular vote. Now, look, I don't believe Trump will win the popular vote, and I don't even care about the popular vote. All I care and all you should care about is 270 votes in the Electoral College. But CNN's Harry Enton believes that the popular vote is in play for Trump. Here's another reason why the left is freaking out. Listen and watch CNN.
Trump may finally get his great white whale. Harris versus Trump national margin. You mentioned that New York Times poll, a tie. That's actually right in the middle of the spectrum when we're talking about recent polling data. You don't have to look very far to find Donald Trump ahead nationally. He was up by 2 points in the CNBC poll, up by 3 in the Wall Street Journal poll. Very close races within the margin of error. But then the same thing on the other side, right? You have Harris up by 3 points according to Ipsos. The Say 24 YouGov poll, it's a bunch of academics, also has Harris up by 3. But the bottom line is, with the popular vote, which we really haven't focused upon, a very, very tight race, John. Fact is, Donald Trump is very much in a position he could win the popular vote, which, of course, is something he would absolutely love.
But the reality is this. Kamala Harris is not popular. In fact, even Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon and also the owner of the Washington Post, decided to squash the WAPO's endorsement of Kamala Harris. It's the first time in almost 40 years that the left-wing D.C. publication hasn't endorsed a candidate for POTUS. This follows suit with the L.A. Times, which also declined. And I would argue that that's a de facto win for Donald Trump because they know that Kamala Harris is indeed awful. And to cap off the weekend, Donald Trump closed out the weekend with a blockbuster rally in New York City at Madison Square Garden. 19,000 plus strong on the inside and reports of tens of thousands on the outside that were unable to get in. After all of the normal nonsense and charades in the same lines, Trump rolls out a new policy, a tax cut policy for caregivers at home. Listen and watch this final clip.
I'm announcing a new policy today that I will support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. It's about time that they were recognized, right? They add so much to our country and are never spoken of, ever, but they're going to be spoken of now. Thank you all very much.
Very smart move by Trump as we enter the stretch run. Give it about 24 to 48 hours before Kamala Harris copies and pastes that policy as well. But just 1 week and 1 day, that's all that's left. And it looks like the October surprise won't materialize, or maybe it already arrived and we just didn't even notice. But all Trump needs to do is stay alive, dot some I's, cross some T's, and let Kamala Harris keep speaking. Donald Trump's in the best position he's ever been in. He's never been more popular. The only question is whether or not he can actually win on November 5th. And that's what we are all waiting for, the results. And that's all that matters. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you want to jump in, Trump over the weekend, Rogan, Madison Square Garden, everything in between, you can certainly do so. 855-839-1210 on social media at 1210 WPHT, or of course let it rip in the YouTube chat. We will get to the joke that missed the mark last night that the media and the left freaked out over, and we'll do that coming up on the other side. It's Kayal and Company. Good to have you guys in here on a Monday morning on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. But first, a word from our friends at DuckDuckGo. That's right, DuckDuckGo, they're back, baby. Why? Because we're all sick of Google, right? We don't trust them. They suppress search results. They spy on you. It's just terrible. That's why I'm so proud to partner with DuckDuckGo, the best search engine going, and they are local. But now they are taking your online privacy and security to the next level, which is why I have subscribed to Privacy Pro from DuckDuckGo, and I want you to do the same. This is a 3-in-1 privacy service that is going to give you a secure VPN anytime, anywhere. Secondly, they provide you identity theft protection. I don't want anybody stealing my bank information or social security number, and I would imagine neither do you. And the third leg of the hat trick, personal information removal, which will blow your mind and blow the hackers, the scammers, and the con artists right out of the water, especially those big companies that always want to store your information. Take advantage of this special offer now exclusively for our listeners. Just go to duckduckgo.com/1210. That's duckduckgo.com/1210 for a free 7-day trial offer. And once you love it, and you will, it's just $9.99 a month after that. Do it today and thank me later. duckduckgo.com/1210.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you looking to remodel your home?
Emmons Remodeling offers complete remodeling services to turn your house into your dream home.
With quality craftsmanship and attention to every detail, Emmons designers and construction experts can handle all of your remodeling needs from kitchens to baths to basements and additions.
Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
New Jersey, this is Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way. Vote in person on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, or early in person starting Saturday, October 26th, or vote by mail. Details at vote.nj.gov.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-253-6259. 800-253-6259. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-253-6259.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Are you working out, eating healthy, doing all the right things, but still not seeing the right result? Well, it could all be down to your metabolism. But now, there's a way of understanding how your nutrition and lifestyle fit into the bigger picture. Learn how your body shifts from burning carbs to burning fat for energy with Lumen. Go to lumen.me right now for 30% off. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It takes just a single breath first thing in the morning, and Lumen immediately analyzes your metabolism, telling you if you're burning fat or carbs, and gives you tailored guidance to improve nutrition, workouts, sleep, and stress management. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. Get something tailored to your body's needs with Lumen. Go to lumen.me today and get 30% off. Plus, listeners can get an additional 15% off by using promo code Radio50. That's promo code Radio50 at lumen.me to get an additional 15% off your first purchase today. LUMEN.ME, promo code Radio50.
Hey, it's Nick. I visited my friends at Piazza Acura of Westchester and drove the Road and Track Performance Car of the Year, the 2024 Acura Integra. I owned an Acura for 10 years, and the new Integra is by far the most striking Acura I have seen. Well equipped with advanced safety and tech features like wireless Apple CarPlay, high-performance adaptive damper system, Wi-Fi, hotspot capability, and 16-speaker premium audio system. Visit PiazzaAcura.com or test drive the new Integra at Piazza Acura in Westchester, Ardmore, or Reading. Tell them Nick sent you.
Medicare is making important changes in 2025. Independence Blue Cross can help. Our Medicare Advantage plans include premiums as low as $0, dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. The deadline to enroll is December 7th. Visit ibxmedicare.com/radio. Independence Blue Cross offers PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Independence Blue Cross PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
Drive in with Kayal and Company mornings 6 till 10. Drive home with Rich Zioli afternoons 3 till 7. Live and local on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
So wonderful, a miracle. Oh, it was beautiful, magical, and all the birds in the trees.
6:35, Kayal and Company. It is a Monday morning. Hopefully, all of you having a great start to your work week as we get it going. Just 8 days away from Election Day. It's Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Take us wherever you go, the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube, as many of you like to do. That was one of the big things I found out Friday when we were at the Lodge in New Jersey. How many people that came up to us and said, "Why, I watch you every day on my television." And I'm like, so you got the old YouTuber up on the big screen. They're like, yeah, we love it. So that's a good thing as well. All right, Dawn, your thoughts from the weekend with Donald Trump, Rogan for 3 hours on Friday, Madison Square Garden on Sunday. So we look at and we compare the closing arguments. Kamala's closing argument is Trump is Hitler. Trump's closing argument is the largest podcast in the world and the world's most famous arena. If we're talking about who won closing arguments, I would say Donald Trump, but that's just me.
Well, I think the closing arguments continue. Trump in Allentown tomorrow. So I don't think that anything can be taken for granted because, all elections are close. There are no, I know that there are some people who say this is not going to be close, but nothing, you can't assume anything. You can't take anything for granted. And that's just it. That even though on one side, you have Trump supporters who look at Madison Square Garden yesterday and say, this is epic. Look at the crowd, not just inside, but the fact that there were still thousands outside the building and they had been lined up since, the wee hours of the morning, even some of them getting there at midnight.
Yeah, Saturday
before.
Night going into Sunday morning.
That is unbelievable. And so nobody's lining up for the other candidate. I also think when you think about just the look of, on one hand, as far as Trump in Madison Square Garden, you see him talking about, and Elon Musk introing the First Lady, and then the First Lady the former First Lady Melania Trump introing Trump. But what you saw with Elon Musk, and I do think that he is a game changer, is talking about the economy. But they were laughing. They were looking to the future. It was positive energy. When you look and listen to the vice president, it almost got weird especially in the church. And she sounded like this high pitched kind of tone, but it didn't, I don't know that it plays well. She even got heckled in the church. I don't know if the man is a parishioner or a church member, but I just think that when you look at those campaigns, one looks screechy and is all about negative and all about turn the page, but you're in office. What are you talking about turn the page to Trump? And so it just, if you just do the look of the campaigns.
One seems forced, the other seems natural, right?
Well, one seems
Trump is natural in any setting.
He's authentic, but just the tone that she is the incumbent and is all negative and screechy, and it's just negative energy.
Yes.
If you just look at the energy of it.
But I thought it was about joy and hope and change and turning the page. But that hasn't resonated, right? So what do? You go back to your old bag of tricks and you go with the Trump is Hitler rhetoric. Whereas, of course, you talk about Elon Musk, and he was out there again last night, jumping around like a kid with a sugar high after a can of Coke and a Snickers bar. He looked like Mike Myers on the skit from SNL when he's got the harness at the playground. But you're right. Now let's get to this story because this is interesting. And I think Dawn and I, you might be on the same page with me with this one. Stalker sent me this. He sent us the story last night, and it was his top story. So this is now full disclosure. I think I've only ever seen Tony Hinchcliffe one time, but I do remember his face. But to be honest, I'm not overly familiar with his work.
He just did College Game Day Saturday.
Did he really?
Last weekend? Yeah, I was going to play it because he kind of went blue there as well.
Okay. Known for, and Stalker, you would know better than I do. Known for his roast brand of comedy.
He does the Kill Tony podcast, which is basically, it's a roast. They go out to live events and they give comedians like 60 seconds to do their best material.
Okay.
And the audience.
Not just comedians. You get to, you can go and put your name in the hat.
Yep.
And because I want to go to one of these. Like, I know who he is.
Okay.
Because my sons love him. And I'm like, I want to go. And I'm going to get up there with you guys and you're going to be so embarrassed.
And they either boo you or cheer you.
So he platforms people a chance to work their material.
Yeah. It's probably one of the most popular live podcasts that's out there.
So as the Trump campaign,
and he's also best friends with Joe Rogan.
So sometimes Rogan is at these events.
Okay, very good.
Especially when they do,
And you just know that the media, the mainstream media, and the Harris campaign are watching last night's festivities, and they're waiting for a moment to pick their spot to find something to gripe about. And this is what they're griping about. So let's play this. So he apparently decided to roast not only Latinos, but also African Americans at the event last night. And what we have for you, the way Phil told me this clip is, you're going to hear the commentary from Tony Hinchcliffe, which, oh, by the way, apparently at the same time, or roughly the same time, AOC and Tim Walz are hosting and playing the Madden football video game on streaming it live on Twitch. So you're going to hear both the actual jokes from Hinchcliffe as well as the reaction from AOC and Mr. Potato Head. Let's take a listen and watch this clip.
These are terrifying. Absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Ouch.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. No.
And I need people to understand that when you have some a-hole calling Puerto Rico floating garbage, know that that's what they think about you. That's just what they think about you. It's what they think about anyone who makes less money than them. It's what they think about the people who serve them food in a restaurant. It's what they think about the people who fold their clothes in a store. Like,
you're right.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah, the privilege of being on this campaign is traveling across the entire country. There are hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans in battleground states that need to send them a message on this.
I want them to
gotta vote.
Roll that. I want everyone in Philadelphia to see that clip. If you live in Philly, why don't you go and see that
Reading,
clip?
Yes.
If you live in Reading, Pennsylvania, which I was there, I was in Reading last week. If you're in Reading, if you're in Philly, look at that trash. Like, what is trash is people actually just thinking of other human beings that way.
All right, so a couple of takeaways. Number one, I didn't think the joke was funny, but it's not because I was offended. I just didn't think it was great material. I think there's a funny joke. I think there's a difference. I don't know, the delivery. It didn't. And I normally will laugh at anything. And again, I always say, when you're a comedian and you're going to see somebody perform, check your feelings at the door. That's what you're signed up for. But here's the thing:
he made fun of everybody, though,
which is fine.
If you watch the entire thing, he makes fun of everybody. He makes fun of the Jews, the Palestinians,
but you
everybody.
Just gave. Why? And first of all, did somebody run through and say what are your jokes and let's do a little rehearsal? Because I want it buttoned down. You're at a major Trump rally. You're less than 2 weeks before a major election, and you just handed them that when you know the Hispanic vote is in play.
Yep.
It's just not. It was just stupid.
So I'm way off.
Stupid.
I thought you would have no problem with it.
That was stupid.
And again, I don't really think it's. Look, if over the last 4 years, if you're still undecided, that's not going to move the needle for you towards Kamala Harris. I would just argue on a night where you have Elon Musk, you have Tucker Carlson, you have Dana White, you've got Hulk Hogan, although he struggled to rip his shirt off, which was very cringe. Like, I would just say, let's not give the legacy media a chance to run with a goofy headline. And that's exactly what they've done.
Dude, the headline started last night. New York Times, Politico. Yep. I'm sure all the 7 a.m.
That's the clip they're playing locally.
I'm sure all the 7 a.m. news. Yeah. I mean, look, if you wanted this to be, your big moment, Madison Square Garden, have all the national media talking about, which is, I think, where both of you are coming from a couple weeks ago. This stole the headline.
Good job, doofus.
However, I'm going to say this. This is what this guy does.
Sure.
He's an edgy comedian.
Right.
And if you want to argue that he shouldn't have been there doing that, fine. But this is like, you can't blame him. I don't. This is what he does. And
I would blame the campaign people that are sitting to say, if Trump's sitting now, I don't think that Trump's mad, but if in the event Trump was mad last night because somebody handed him the story and said, "Oh, Mr. President, look what they're running with now, sir," and then I if I'm him, I might be a little pissed off at somebody within my campaign that decided to book him as part of the ensemble of characters that came out last night. Well, he had a lot of great, and I thought Dana White's speech was phenomenal last night. I didn't turn it on until about the final 2 or 3. I saw White, I saw Elon, Melania, and Trump. Everything before that, I didn't see because I was watching some of the football. But again, you have all these headliners and A-listers, and look, maybe Hinchcliffe is well deserving, and he's a headliner and an A-lister as well. But now you've got the New York Times, I'm sure MSNBC, CNN, and they'll take a 5-hour presentation and they'll grab those 38 seconds and they'll paint the picture. Trump's anti-Latino, he's anti-this, which is we know is not true. And why? Because he's surging in those demographics, right? We just gave you the numbers on Friday. 44% of young Latino men 18 to 29 say they plan to vote for Trump. 25% of African-American men aged 18 to 29 say they plan to vote for Donald Trump. But again, it's about the headlines, it's the clickbait. And I'm sure by the time we get to Cut Sheet Part 2, there will be a clip of Morning Joe having like a crying session over those comments, right?
And Mika.
Yeah.
Mika
who was
and Mr.
breaking?
Brzezinski.
Well, yeah, and wasn't Mika crying on Friday?
Yeah.
Didn't we play something in the cut sheet where she was like getting so teared up?
She was shrieking. She was panicking. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
She was off the hook.
Yep. So there you go. 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in.
He did another joke too. Let me play the full clip of this.
By the way, I'm just going to say the Trump campaign has denounced this, that he does not represent the campaign. And
Rick Scott in Florida came out and said, nope, doesn't represent us. And there was another congressperson from Florida, because they know that's a big constituent down there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me play the entire thing here. This is cut 32, Phil. Go.
Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this.
He's saying go away.
No more, no mas.
Not getting a huge laugh.
It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies, too. Just know that.
These Latinos.
They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They just like they did to our country.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty solid.
Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. Free speech is under attack, people. I host a show, and each week I get updates what words we're allowed to use and not use anymore. It's happening right now the past few years. It's a real thing.
Yep.
And, used to be able to tell people to Google stuff. My mom's a boomer in the state of Ohio, and there's no convincing her of anything. She's eating the cats. She's eating the dogs. They're eating the pets up there. It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay.
Can I tell you something? Our other stations are airing that, and you hear the audience is not that into him. He's not doing great with these jokes. On our sister station, I will point out to you, when they played it, it sounded like thunderous applause.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on, if a clip is being re-released by somebody.
Probably.
I wonder if that's, you know what I'm saying? Like they pulled it from Twitter, not that they did it.
Right.
But did they pull it from Twitter and it has been edited with a huge thunderous applause and laughter because the crowd here does not love him. I could have done without him.
Yeah. I'm getting all these tweets and DMs with copies of what these right-wing Twitter people say about, oh, it's a joke, get over it. It's not the point.
Yeah.
It's not the point, right? It's giving the ammunition to the mainstream media.
Less than 2 weeks
I
before.
get it, you Twitter people. That doesn't offend you. It doesn't offend me either. But stop thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
Think the way the enemy is planning to think and react.
And manipulate.
It's chess. It's not checkers. God almighty. I hate every one of you with a passion. Stop.
We gotta have an eye on that as far as it being re-released on social media with an edited, huge thunderous applause and huge laugh. That guy was bombing out there. He was not doing well.
Well, this guy has 800,000 followers and he says it's not a big deal. Yeah, good. Then go follow him and his unlistenable podcast.
We've been saying, a group of us moms, want to go to. I'm a fan of his. Don't get me wrong. He has a time and place, but these jokes at Madison Square Garden with Trump. This is a headliner, well before him. It doesn't play well because now they've given him the ammo.
And it's bad enough that you've got people that are coming out that used to work in the past administration with him, whether it's a military commander or somebody that worked in a cabinet with an axe to grind and says, oh, Trump said this back in 2018, 6 years ago behind closed doors. Or this lady came out 31 years later and says he touched me. So you have all that stuff that you're trying to fend off, which is like, third-party hearsay. You don't need somebody in your own venue for your own event doing anything to jeopardize the momentum you have a mere 8 days away.
And it's funny, too, because we know that leading up to this, everybody compared this to the 1939 Nazi rally, even though it's not the same Madison Square Garden. It's not even the same building. But I guess, we should... Who
cares about those details?
Yeah, we shouldn't care about details. But when you have that headline and then this phrase about, garbage Puerto Rico, it doesn't look good. I will say this, however, it is like, this is what this guy does. If you didn't want him to do it, you shouldn't have had him there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's
blame the campaign.
He insults everybody.
Yeah, which I love.
His humor is 80%, 90% race based. It's what he does. I mean, like, if
maybe
you don't like it,
maybe it's just again, to me, I don't find him to be super good at. And look, I don't find Rogan to be good either. So I guess I'm a harsh critic. I just don't find the material is great. I don't like the delivery of it, if that makes sense. The way he does it, I don't know if he's just trying to be low key, and then
I love the way.
So you
he
like
delivers.
that?
I love the way he delivers.
Okay. He did come out and defend himself in response to the Kamala Harris HQ Twitter feed that posted that video that we just played for you. And this is Tony Hinchcliffe's words, saying these people have no sense of humor, which I certainly agree with. Wild that a vice presidential candidate would take time out of his busy schedule to analyze a joke taken out of context to make it seem racist. I love Puerto Rico and I vacation there. I made fun of everyone. Watch the whole set. I'm a comedian, Tim, and he's referring to Tim Walz. Might be time to change your tampon. So that's his
fun.
response. Now, again, here's the thing where we take things out of context, which, I think a lot of us at times certainly fall for because, somebody does something for 20 minutes and 13 seconds of it is clipped and aired on social media. So context certainly does matter. And, I think most people on the left, the Democrats specifically, they're not bothered by that.
They're just using it.
They're just using it.
I just hate when jokes get taken as political speech. And I get it. He was at a political rally. I 100% understand that. But again, it's a joke. It is not. This is what he does. So to sit here and say, well, this is racist. It's a freaking joke, man.
And by the way, it's a thing called free speech. Yeah. Right, lost in all of that, which he talked about at the end.
Yeah, but
he gets shows where he has to show up and is told what words are off limit. I wouldn't do the show then.
Yeah, but the point is, at last night, it was so perfect. It was so amazing. And even when you hear him do the set to the crowd, it didn't get a huge laugh. And again, I'm somebody who wants to go to one of his shows. I find his shows really funny in the context of that, especially when Rogan's there. My sons have friends who've gone up with their moms. It's like, it's a hoot. But during this important, critical time, why give the enemy any ammo?
Yep.
And he delivered it. And
Yep.
that, my friends, this morning, listen to the local stations. Nobody's airing the other clips from that rally. This is what they're airing.
That's right.
So
No,
there it is.
You're right. Dawn, you and I are on the same page.
I would love to be him today because his stock
Yeah.
just went up
Oh,
a
yeah.
1,000,000%.
Absolutely.
More downloads to his podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep.
God.
I thought our stock was through the roof after Friday's show until I realized Mr. Hinchcliffe's stock just went up. 855-839-1210. Nick, Dawn, Greg. We'll come back. We'll get to hour number 2. We've got news on the way. And then a report out from Axios that Kamala Harris is blocking Joe Biden's attempt to help campaign for her. I can't believe it. Harris is ghosting the big guy. The details on the other side. It's Kayal and Company. Hour 2 is next.
But first, we are off to paradise once again, the Italian Riviera, on a gastronomical event that only conservative tours can deliver. Join me for 11 luxurious days with the professionals from Conservative Tours, the best tour operator in all of Italy, hands down. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Portofino, Rapallo, Santa Margherita Ligure, Tuscany, and the brilliant Cinque Terre. 5378. Yeah, and that does include your airfare. 5378. Dining events at wineries in Tuscany. We're going to toast Romina and Lorenzo, our friends, for sure. Visiting an authentic farm to see how Parmesan cheese is crafted by hand. Just call toll-free 888-733-9494. You can go to conservativetours.com, scroll through, and you'll see the images of our full itinerary. Look for my name. Hidden Italian villages you've never seen, like Giacomo Puccini, San Gimignano, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Florence, Milan. And then we will conclude on the Lakes region with Bellagio, Orta, and Isola Bella. Join me next spring in Italy. I'll see you in Cinque Terre. Cinque Terre. ConservativeTours.com. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
They don't call her Confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, Confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat Confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles.
Highly logical.
Learn about Navient's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills, too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
This is a commercial for California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at the Sellersville Theater in Sellersville, PA. Saturday, November 1st with Norm Clark and Vince Valentine. For tickets, go to JoeConklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game to learn how to create your own Crash Proof Retirement game plan.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano for my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. His state-of-the-art facility makes your dentistry as easy as can be. Recently, they had a permanent tooth put in. And you know how it is. In the past, you bite down, it's too high. It's always too high. The back and forth getting it just right. Well, not this time. With Dr. Bentz, it fit perfectly the first time. Call the Bentz Dental Group now, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
.703, it is hour number 2. Kayal and Company here on this Monday. Down the stretch we come. Just 8 days until the election. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We'll get to some of your calls coming up shortly. 855-839-1210. If you'd like to climb in. Cut sheet is scheduled for 7:45. We could probably start it now and still not get through it. Stocker's got 36 clips, I believe.
No, let me just update it. Hang on. 43.
33.
43.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. All right. Woo. I'm going to get out of the way. Let Dawn do what Dawn does best. 7:04, round number 2. The news with the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning, Kayal and Company News Live on this Monday morning. Yes, Halloween week, October the 28th. We are sponsored by Piazza Auto Group this morning. And in the news this morning, we're following this high-speed chase that happened early this morning as Philadelphia police say they have at least one of those individuals in custody. So we're following that story. We also have in the Northeast a tragic story that began with the daughters of a woman reporting their mom missing. And ultimately, Philadelphia police saying that tragically they have found this woman's body. They found her body wrapped in a blanket and a towel, all wrapped up in a garage. And they're not confirming if the woman in the missing persons report is the same person found dead. That's the official line, even though the daughters I know are speaking out about their mom. Officially, we don't have all of that information as a homicide investigation obviously underway for the woman's body found wrapped in the blanket and in the towel inside that garage in Philadelphia's Lawncrest section. So very disturbing story for that community. It all started with the missing persons report and police responding to the 5900 block of Elsinore Street. That happened over the weekend after a missing person, 51-year-old, and this is Ivelisse Lugo. She had been missing. Neighbors, her daughter, going door to door asking if you had seen her mother. And so police were investigating, finally searched the home, and that is when they realized that they found her body. So police are saying that that she may have at some point, they're confirming at one point, she may have been with her estranged husband, but they're not connecting these dots officially. So I'm just giving you the factoids here. He owns a 2006 Chevy van, and they're releasing the license plate, Pennsylvania license plate, ZRR 4023, but they're not releasing his name. So he's a person of interest. They continue to investigate, but they have not officially confirmed if the woman found is indeed Mrs. Lugo. A real tragedy here in Philadelphia, and the neighbors speaking out, grieving, just talking about what just a sweet, dear woman and dear neighbor, that kind woman that she was. No weapons found. We don't have the cause of death here. Autopsy pending. Anybody with information, contact Northeast detectives. That's the word from Philadelphia police this morning for you.
Well, at least he was able to wrap up the body in a blanket.
Stop it.
Yeah, show an ounce of human compassion. Jesus.
So we have that going on. Another big story in Philadelphia, as the SEPTA union workers have voted to authorize a strike amid contract negotiations. Those negotiations, I should point out, have not broken down, but this is TW Local 234, largest working union for SEPTA. They met over the weekend. They issued this vote. The union says 100% of those in attendance voted in favor of the strike. So they do have a deadline through this week. And so both sides have said they will, in fact, they're back at the table today. They will, in fact, get this done. They are, committed to that, but they have a week. Tick-tock.
Trump's going to be in Allentown tomorrow. I wonder if Trump will be asked about that. Now, I know the Lehigh Valley is different from Philadelphia, but we've seen Trump gain some support, obviously, with unions, right? Is this an opportunity politically for Trump to say or campaign on doing something for SEPTA in a battleground state like Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they'll comment or they'll ask him, because it's like you said, he's going to be in Allentown.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that one. And as far as the Veep, Vice President Kamala Harris made 3 stops here in Philadelphia. We also had a women supporting girls and women in sports in Philadelphia. That was Riley Gaines was in town, Tulsi Gabbard, Elise Stefanik. I mean, a lot of headliners, a lot of women gathering in South Philadelphia for that big rally. And then as well, we obviously had the iconic Trump rally, Madison Square Garden, that's getting a lot of play. Trump in Allentown, as we've been saying. So we have a lot. Obviously, we're down to the wire here.
Yes, we are. By the way, do we want to go back and revisit Madison Square Garden versus McDonald's and talk about who made the bigger impact? Remember, I was on Team McDonald's. I thought the McDonald's event was going to be more significant. I don't know. No bad jokes at McDonald's through the drive-thru. Just saying. Just saying.
And by the way, I think the Quarter Pounders are back in Colorado.
Are the Onions back? That's the question.
That's what the source was. Thank goodness the source, they were able to investigate and figure out that it was the onions, not the beef.
And by the way, did you notice Sean Farish a little hesitant with the cheesesteak Friday at the Lodge? Beef, onions. I think he had a little trepidation post McDonald's, because remember, he also dealt with the onion disaster. Yeah. Yeah.
It never, thank God, it never affected us here and anywhere on the East Coast, to my knowledge. I still don't have the explanation as to why the CDC made that big announcement last Tuesday when the death and all the illnesses had happened beginning in late September and pretty much through maybe mid-October.
Well, science takes time, Dawn.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Okay. So we had reported on Friday at the great event in South Jersey about the fake video showing destroyed mail-in ballots in Bucks County. We had talked a lot about that. So U.S. officials, putting out a statement sent by the FBI, because the feds got involved in that, and they believe the video was manufactured and amplified by Russian actors.
Shocking.
Russians again.
Shocking. Fake news.
Russian
Can
actors.
we stop getting our news from Twitter?
Yeah, amazing.
So the video took off on social media.
But
and this
Benny
was late
Johnson
Thursday.
told me it's true.
So what was good about that was that it was in a bipartisan way. Officials in Bucks County in Pennsylvania immediately debunked it. They got together in a bipartisan way, said these are phony, those aren't real. This is something that's created. They called in the authorities. They did it right. And then at the end of the day, Director of National Intelligence, FBI, Cybersecurity, Infrastructure Security, all these different individuals with local officials, they all got together and say these were not authentic materials and these were Russians.
Although, what happened in Lancaster County on Friday with the district attorney Heather Adams coming out and saying that there was voter registration fraud that was happening there?
Yes,
yeah, that was
later.
2,500 registrations that are being investigated for possible fraud.
Yeah.
By the way, there was also a bomb threat for the Montgomery County Republican Committee headquarters. I've got their statement. We can get to it after Dawn's news.
Yeah, so the deal in Lancaster County that broke was suspected fraudulent voter registration forms dropped off at the Board of Elections in 2 different batches at or near the deadline for submission. So there are approximately 2,500 voter registration applications total in these 2 batches. And so it's unclear, they say, how many of the applications in the 2 different batches are allegedly, fraudulent. So in other words, we know that in those batches, the total count, 2,500, but among them, so in other words, all 2,500 are not necessarily fraudulent. You see what I'm saying?
They said
hundreds are.
They noticed that numerous applications had, quote, similarities, and one of the officials said it, quote, appears to be an organized effort at this point.
So they held that news conference Friday. That's what Greg's referring to.
Mm-hmm.
They held the news conference Friday. What time did they hold that? Because it was Friday at some point, but I think either we were just getting.
I think we were already off the air.
Yeah, we have a little bit of it. Phil, can you pull up cut 19 since we're talking about it? This is the Lancaster County District Attorney Heather Adams. She held a press conference. We'll just play a little bit of it. Phil, if you can play cut 19.
Good morning, everyone. District Attorney Heather Adams. On Tuesday afternoon, I was contacted by Krista Miller, who is our Chief Clerk of Elections, regarding potentially fraudulent voter registration applications that had recently been received by her office. At that time, she informed me that the Elections Office received approximately 2,500 applications at or near the deadline for registering to vote. While preparing to process these applications, staff noticed that numerous applications appeared to have the same handwriting, were filled out on the same day with unknown signatures, and some were previously registered voters, excuse me, and the signatures on file did not match the signatures on the application. So before I begin to summarize our preliminary findings, I must remind everyone that this is an ongoing investigation, and for that reason, I will be limited in the details that I can provide. Lancaster County detectives began investigating the voter registration applications and immediately found applications that were indeed fraudulent. Indicators of fraud included inaccuracies with the addresses listed on the applications, false personal identification information, as well as false names.
Interesting.
There you go. False names, false identification. Combination, I always feel like, of either we've got fraud, we've got stupidity, or we've got a combination of both. Which, by the way, if you can't figure out how to fill out everything properly and follow the instructions with envelopes and things like that, then maybe you shouldn't vote. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
But these, I think the question is that some have the same, and I apologize, there's something wrong in my booth here, so I couldn't hear what she said, but I have the transcript. But, I mean, she's saying some of these appear to have the exact same handwriting and other details, like perhaps the same addresses. There's something going on here.
Of course there is.
So, but again, this is all good. That they're all watching, they're diligent, they're being transparent.
Yeah, Michael
That's what we
Watley,
want.
by the way, gave an update over the weekend. They now have 230,000 people to watch on Election Day. Remember, the goal was 100,000. Laura Trump said they got to 200,000. Whatley says they now have 230,000 people. Just disperse them at all 7 swing states. Divide them up equally.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
It was a good weekend for our Philadelphia Eagles, defeating the Cincinnati Bengals 37-17. The final there with the Eagles victorious. And as we've been saying, it was also a loser weekend for Dallas, so that even sweetens the pot.
But not a loser weekend for the Commanders.
I know. How about that?
Who were 6-2.
Hail Mary with no time.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
My best friend and brother-in-law went to the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Who
By
cares?
the way, both of you still waiting for the $40 donation to Families or for Travis Manning Foundation.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding a stamp and some postage right now.
You can Venmo. They probably take all forms of payment.
I'll just take. I'll look at the receipt when you guys are done.
Okay.
Just screenshot me the receipt.
You got it.
We are sponsored this morning. By Piazza Auto Group. For a limited time, you get special 0% financing for 60 months on the new 2024 Volkswagen Tiguan or a $2,000 customer bonus. Just visit Piazza Volkswagen of Ardmore, Langhorne, or piazzavw.com for details. Piazza Auto Group also sponsoring our fabulous forecast, or at least I think you're going to think it's fabulous. It's a little chilly this morning. We woke up in the 40s. However, it's going to warm up to a balmy 64 degrees and sunny today, feeling like a normal fall day. But tomorrow that warm up begins. 69 for your Tuesday with the sun peeking out. Wednesday, hump day, 76 degrees. And then for Thursday, Halloween day, check it out, 80 degrees, mostly sunny, just a warm summer-like day just for trick-or-treating. Then Friday comes the much-needed rain because by Thursday, it'll be, I think, over the mark of 30 days without significant rain. Friday, cooler, kind of a drab day, but we will get significant rain on Friday, which we do need. Friday, 70 degrees. And then for your weekend, a cooler autumn-like weekend as we begin November. Saturday, 62, bright sunny skies. And then Sunday, partly cloudy, partly sunny, 66 degrees, more seasonable. We do get the rain on Friday, but for Thursday, look at that, 80 degrees for your Halloween day, kiddies. What a treat. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210. So I did mention that there was a bomb threat over the weekend in Montgomery County, and that is according to the Pennsylvania GOP, the Republican Party of Pennsylvania, releasing a press release. You can see it here on YouTube if you're watching. And this was released on Saturday, so 2 days ago, October 26th. Bomb threat adds to increasing violence against the GOP. And this is straight out of Harrisburg. Montgomery County Republican Committee headquarters was forced to close on Saturday after staff received a phone call at 11:07 a.m. in which the caller communicated an angry, profanity-laced bomb threat. They say today's incident is one of an increasing number of threats, violence, and intimidation acts against GOP candidates, offices, and staff this cycle, on top of 2 assassination attempts against President Donald Trump. On September 6th, a GOP staffer in Erie County received death threats from a Philadelphia man who said, quote, "Your days are numbered, B word," the messages went on to say. And if you remember, we were taking your emails and you guys were submitting us emails about receiving these letters in person. On September 6th, I'm sorry, I already read that. On October 10th, individuals forcibly entered the Delaware County Republican headquarters, threatened to kill staff, and blocked them from exiting the building. On October 17th, many individuals associated with the GOP received an anonymous letter which stated, and this is the one that we read for you on the air about 2 weeks ago, "Should your candidate win, we know where you live. You are in the database. In the dead of a cold winter's night this year or next and beyond, there is no knowing what may happen. Your property, your family may be impacted. You tread on me at your own peril, mother bleeper. We look forward to visiting in the future. The Pennsylvania GOP says all incidents have been reported to local police departments, Governor Josh Shapiro's Election Integrity Task Force, as well as the FBI. In the meantime, Chairman Lawrence Tabas of the Republican Party insists that the party's efforts will be undeterred. So just wanted to share that as somebody that lives myself in Montgomery County, and I'm sure some of our audience that lives in Montgomery County as well, because this latest threat, the bomb threat, was called in at 11:07 a.m. on Saturday morning.
And that's the Bluebell office.
Yeah, it's not too far from me.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's those dangerous MAGA extremists again, I guess. 855-839-1210. We'll come back. We're going to get to a little bit of the cut sheet early. We're not going to call it the cut sheet, but we do have some Trump clips from Madison Square Garden, and Stocker's sitting on like 43 different clips. So we're going to get this bad boy started a little bit earlier than normal, which is great because I'll be late the rest of the week anyway, so it'll all balance out by the time I get out of here on Friday. It's Kayal and Company. We're back after this on a Monday on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
All right, listening to these yet? FanDuel, my FanDuel reads FanDuel.com /
taking notes here. Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. Cap off NFL Week 8 with a chance to win on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sports book. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. On tonight's game, it's the Steelers and the Giants. I'm looking for, how about this 3-leg same game parlay for tonight? Russell Wilson on the over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Malik Neighbors on the under for receiving yards. And Najee Harris to score an anytime touchdown. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. It's FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT. Sign up now, FanDuel.com/Greg. Trust me. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager, only $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms of sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. For years, I've talked about the health benefits of Rescue Natural Supplements after making their omega-3s a part of my daily routine. From supporting heart health to providing pain relief, they provide essential nutrients that impact our bodies in so many ways. Listen to this recent comment from Carol. She says triglycerides are at an all-time low and increase my well-being, while joint pains and muscle aches have decreased too. People like Carol have trusted Rescue with their health goals, and now it's your turn. For a limited time, use the code OMEGA50 for an exclusive buy one, get one free offer on any of the 7 Rescue Omega-3 choices. To get this special radio offer, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or use the code online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember, use that code OMEGA50, OMEGA50, to buy one and get another Rescue Omega-3 absolutely free.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here to tell you why Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. You can choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, or you can have their master jewelers create a custom one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at familyjewelers.com. That's familyjewelers.com. Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
The following is a paid commercial message. The world was a lot different in 2006. No smartphones, no electric cars. This is how we connected to the internet. And back then, Bob Casey wasn't siding with the far-left liberals. But nearly 2 decades in Washington has changed Bob Casey. Now, Casey's voted to let biological men compete against our girls in their sports, and supported letting biological men into girls' bathrooms and locker rooms. Letting men change next to our girls? That's insane. Worse, Casey introduced a bill to force hospitals to perform sex change operations. Forcing hospitals to perform sex changes against their beliefs? What is Casey thinking? On top of it all, Bob Casey voted to raise middle-class taxes. Your family struggles, but Casey, he is for they, them. Bring normal back to Washington and fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Honey, I got a guy to fix our roof.
Oh no. The last time your friend recommended a guy, we had to get the repairs repaired.
It's not just any guy, it's PJ Fitzpatrick. Look, they have thousands of 5-star reviews and over 40 years of experience. PJ can fix leaky windows, broken siding, rotted trim, and damaged leaking roofs in just 1 day. Plus, PJ Fitzpatrick can even clean our gutters.
That's my kind of guy. What are you waiting for? Visit trustpj.com and set up an appointment today. TrustPJ.com.
You love your city, but let's be honest, the commute, not so much. That's where the free Odyssey app can help. Download the app and follow your local news station so you can get the latest traffic reports or find if your train is on time before you walk out your door. Knowing all this gives you time to think about the essential things like, do I have time to get coffee? Download the free Odyssey app and search your local news station. That's AUDACY.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Oh yeah, Kayal and Company, 728. Happy Monday to all of you. It's Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. As we continue here on this Monday morning, 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in. We have so much great audio to get to. Cut sheet will officially begin in about 15 or 20 minutes, but I know Stalker's got a lot of good ones from Madison Square Garden last night as Donald Trump holds a massive campaign rally, 19,000 plus, sellout on the inside, tens of thousands on the outside that tried to get in and had to take in the festivities outside. And now it's time to get to some of the highlights from last night's Garden Rally.
Yeah, let's start with cut 33 here, Phil. Trump talking about FEMA, illegal immigrants, what's happening in North Carolina and Georgia. Cut 33, Phil, go.
Time to go to bed. To his and her egregious hurricane response, the worst response in North Carolina and other states since Katrina, but I think it was even worse than Katrina. They haven't even responded in North Carolina. They haven't even responded. There's nobody. They don't see any FEMA. You know why? They spent their money on bringing in illegal migrants. So they didn't have money for Georgia and North Carolina and Alabama and Tennessee and Florida and South Carolina. They didn't have any money for them. They spent all of their money on bringing in illegal immigrants and flying them in by beautiful jet planes. They flew in. We just found out about a year and a half ago. Remember, we said, what's going on? Those planes, a lot of planes going over there. What are they? They would fly them into the middle of our country, our beautiful, beautiful country. And you know what happened? You take a look at Springfield, Ohio.
All right, so, if I'm him, and by the way, the Trump campaign, they ran an ad during one of the commercial breaks yesterday on CBS 3 on the Eagles game, and it was like a minute and a half, or maybe 2 minutes. It was, I think, actually the entire commercial break, and it was really good, and it highlighted all the big issues, and one of the big issues, obviously, is immigration and the border, but also with FEMA as well, with the hurricane relief efforts from Florida to the Carolinas to Georgia. That's what I would focus on here down the stretch. Do you, and I know his opening statement last night was, let me ask you a simple question. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And that's a great message as well. That's a great line of questioning to bring up. But I would also position it this way. Do you trust the current administration, which Kamala Harris is a part of, to handle any of the big issues, whether it's global wars, whether it's the southern border, whether it's natural disasters like hurricanes? I mean, do you trust them on the little things like, taking care of the LGBTQ community or addressing all the ridiculous left-wing stuff that only 8% of Americans subscribe to anyway? But when you look at the big issues, it is not even close. And we've talked about it. If this election was based on issues, it would be a blowout. But it's not based on issues, sadly. And it's not based on policy, sadly. But just you look at all the FEMA stuff, I would continue to hammer that home. There's another storm on the way. I think I saw this over the weekend, right? Is there another storm possibly brewing in the Caribbean?
Brewing.
Yeah.
So
it's brewing.
It's brewing.
Brewing.
It's percolating.
It's percolating.
Yeah.
By the way, just curious, are you guys, I know you kind of brought this up earlier, Nick, but I'm curious, do you guys think that this was a good idea, him doing this Madison Square Garden rally?
Yes.
I mean, it was as I expected. I still think, I'm still pro McDonald's event. I think that was something that we'll be talking about. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how long this goes, because McDonald's lasted for like 3 or 4 days. I mean, that literally broke the internet. This broke the internet as well, but I think more
not in the way they wanted it
not
to.
in the way they wanted to, which is, and again, I'm not saying I saw this part coming, but I do think the Hinchcliffe thing was avoidable.
I think it was epic to go and for Trump and for the Trump family to say, this is our town. We love you, New York. And at the same time, you had Mayor Adams, who was just asked about Trump and the prosecution of Adams, and that he can certainly hold that rally in Madison Square Garden. So I think this was a homecoming. I think that to take over New York City, and there were a lot of New Yorkers there, a lot, and a diversity of people. They were not from out of town. And the fact that these people came like it was a mecca to celebrate Trump. And so I think it just looked like a victory party.
She's struggling in New York by past standards. Now, she's still going to win New York, but I have the numbers here. Joe Biden at this time 4 years ago had 74% of the New York vote. Kamala Harris right now at 66%, whereas Trump has gone up from 22 to 27%. So she's still a 2-to-1 favorite. And nobody's saying, which again, I thought it was ridiculous for anybody to even think that Trump could win New York. It's not going to happen. But you're seeing an 8-point drop in Democrat support and a 5% bump in Republican support. That's a 13-point swing. So what does that mean for maybe Virginia? We'll see. Minnesota, probably not going to happen. But the swing states, for sure. And I also just found it incredibly amazing that over the weekend now, and I didn't know this about the Minnesota Star Tribune, So we already knew that the LA Times would not endorse Kamala Harris, which is fascinating because it's the number one newspaper in the state of California, and she's from California.
Well, no. They did endorse and then they took it back. They rescinded it.
Yeah,
okay. Because of her
Gaza issue, the Gaza stance. Mm-hmm. And then, I didn't know this, the Minnesota Star Tribune, which is the biggest paper in the state of Minnesota, does not endorse Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, the governor, the vice president nominee. And now you have the Washington Post coming out where Bezos is like, yeah, I don't care what my staff wants. We're not endorsing Kamala Harris. So Los Angeles, Minnesota, and D.C. left-wing publications will not endorse the Democratic ticket. That you have to be next level bad for that to happen, right?
Well, don't worry, the Philly Inquirer did. So.
Oh, of course. What else are they going to do?
By the way, as of 7:35 this morning, 43,304,817 mail-in and early in-person votes cast nationally.
43 and change, okay.
43 million and change. 42% registered Democrats, 40% registered Republicans, 18% other.
Whoa, that margin is smaller than what you reported Friday.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when more stuff happens.
Yeah, but that's a good sign for Republicans because it was wider than 2 points, right? Was it like I think you had it at like 8 points in favor of Democrats.
I don't know if it was 8 points, but it was
6, maybe.
Yeah, it may have been 6.
Yeah.
And again, we don't know which way they're voting, and this is nationally again.
Yep.
Also, I don't think that, in 2020, you know how there was this big surge of Republicans same day voting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen this year, at least to that same degree, because I think a lot of Republicans are doing early voting.
Good.
You guys want to hear how it's broken down? This is nationally again by age.
Mm-hmm.
So 48% are 65 and over.
All right, boomers.
26% are 50 to 64. So roughly, what's that? 65% of the people who have voted already are 50 and above.
Mm-hmm.
11% 40 to 49. 8% 30 to 39. How about this? 7% 18 to 29.
Which you've been saying that young people don't vote.
It's unbelievable to me. It is. Everybody spends all this time on young people. Oh, the young people are going to come out. They never come out. 18 to 29-year-olds don't vote. They don't vote.
Unless they're going to show up on Election Day.
That's what Republicans are hoping for.
Okay.
Especially men.
Which I agree. They probably
I was gonna, but I had this video game thing that was going to happen. So
but what does this say about the older generation that they are willing to use mail-in or early voting when they've maybe been resistant to that, especially on the Republican side of things?
How about this nationally? 53% women, 45% men.
That's advantage Harris. Obviously.
Let's see. The thing is, I'm just saying nobody can take anything for granted. That's just it.
Yep.
We can't. I'll never predict a red wave again. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, I'm avoiding a prediction.
Those days are over.
I'm avoiding a prediction this year, even though I nailed the prediction 2 years ago. Even though I didn't want to be right about the red wave not happening, I'm going predictionless for this election because I really don't know.
You quoted an article early on. Who was it? Was that Who was that?
Axios.
Was it?
Which one is in regards to the Dems that with the?
Who was it? You saw one piece of research and that was influencing you that there would not be a red wave. Who was that?
You're talking about 2 years ago?
Yeah.
His name was Greg Stocker.
No. It was In all seriousness, I'm just saying we should look up what that same publication, what that same group. What
I forget what it was.
Now I know.
Yeah, I know. I had the gambling analogy of when everybody's on one side, go the other way, and you'll probably end up being on the right side. But I forget what it was. By the way, Nate Silver's 538 is giving Trump a 54% chance right now, for what that's worth.
So if they do it 100 times, Trump wins 54.
That's correct.
Times. I gotcha.
Yep.
Let's do one more on Trump at Madison Square Garden last night, mocking Harris for the teleprompter issues she's had. Cut 34 go.
Speaker, should I don't know. Will they be angry? Yeah, they will. It's a lot of introducing, right? Let's keep going with this speech, huh? But when you have when you're in this profession, I have a friend who wanted to come in. I said, do you like speaking? Well, I do, but I have a great fear of speaking. I said, don't be a politician. If you have a fear of speaking, don't be a politician. But one thing you have to know is that no matter how good your people are that operate this machinery, it's going to break. And you're going to be out there all by yourself a lot. And you got to be able to do so. 3 weeks ago, she was saying there was only 32 days left, right? And she's reading it like, there's 32 days. And it stopped. And she went, there's 32 days. 32. 32. And I was watching. I said, this isn't pretty. 32. She was gone. And then, damn it, it kicked back on. She was gone. We've had it. Happens a lot. And don't forget, you got all those people back there. Now, they don't talk about her. But if that ever happened, it happens all the time. I was campaigning in Ohio for a very, very Bernie Moreno. He's doing a good job. I think he's maybe going to win in Ohio. The problem he's got, his opponent, Sherrod Brown, he's taking ads in like he's my best friend. He never votes for me. He's not my best friend. Ohio's been very friendly to Trump. We win it all the time by a landslide. But the opponent is taking ads. I got 4 of them. I think we have 4 of them, right? They're taking ads. All of a sudden, they love Trump. We agree with Trump on tariffs. We agree with Trump on the border. We love Trump. And they're Democrats. Their friends calling up, did they switch to the Republican Party? But it happened with Bernie Moreno. I was in Ohio to try and get him over the initial primary hump. And it was 45-mile-an-hour winds, and these suckers were blowing like... You ever try reading a teleprompter where it's moving about 2 feet in each? But I didn't have to worry about that because even worse, they ended up blowing off the stage a lot of it. So I'm now in the first sentence, and I got 28,000 people and millions of people watching on television. I got no teleprompter. And did I do a good job, Mr. Speaker? And he won.
So right there is exactly what Donald Trump is capable of doing by going off teleprompter, which Kamala Harris cannot do. You know, if Newman Price is listening, if he could get the Kamala Harris 32 clip and merge that for a remix with Fetterman's 95, that would be a phenomenal thing to leave us in the voicemail machine, just giving creative ideas now to Newman. But Dawn, you've said this many times, being on prompter is a certain skill set. So it's more difficult than a lot of people imagine. But when you're a politician, you have to be able to go off of teleprompter or you will be exposed. It's a lot like this format, right? It's one thing to read a story or to have a script, but when you have 4 hours, or in Dawn's case, 6 hours to fill, you better have a certain skill set because not everything is scripted to a T. Yeah. It's not like television.
Yeah, it's so true. And when these final days, it makes my head spin because everything has to be perfect. Just everything has to be buttoned down and perfect and zero mistakes. And that's why for that incredible epic rally, we've never seen anything like it, to have any moments where they can take one, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for anything to go wrong. And that is what they're going to choose to send as if they all get the same memo. Mm-hmm. Well, in the media,
and if anything goes wrong for her in those settings where she's got a teleprompter, she's screwed, right? And then, of course, it is an imperfect world, right? You're guaranteed to have computer crashes. How many times do we have a computer crash where Stalker can't play a clip or we can't play a soundbite or something or a drop because of technology? And Trump is great in that setting when it goes. I mean, how many times have we seen Trump where the podium was wobbly? Or remember the one a couple of weeks ago where they wanted him to sit in the chair and the chair was poorly constructed and he's like, oh, they would love to see Trump fall off of this and land on his ass. Like he makes content out of every single thing. Whereas if it's Kamala, one thing is slightly off, she's screwed.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we'll play more. I have all of Rogan. I have all of the Madison Square Garden stuff. I have Kamala in Philly yesterday. Jake Tapper sparred with J.D. Vance. I have so much here. The cut sheet's going to go on for, I think I'm just going to stay on the air with you, Dawn. I'm going to stay on with Dom. I'm going to stay on with Rich. And I'm just going to do the cut sheet all day.
Don't give these people ideas. This could be a TMF charitable sales sponsor.
Oh, God.
Hey, Greg is still here. It's the Greg Marathon.
Yeah. Nobody wants that.
Honestly,
Nobody wants that, by the way.
For the right price, could we one day have a 6A to 7P 13-hour cut sheet?
I'm tired. I'm tired just thinking about it.
We could just record you, Greg.
Yeah.
We could just record you going, Greg's, and then just keep on playing the cut. Now here's cut.
Cut 36, Phil, go.
398. Riveting radio. All right, but we should get to that on the other side.
Yes, we will. Cut sheet is coming up next officially here on Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
But first, we got to talk about my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles. They feature the latest in luxury vehicles from today's top brands like Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and so much more. These models have sleek new designs and such innovative features powered by the latest in technology. And Piazza has thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available right now across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey dealerships. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com, Piazza, PiazzaPremiumAutos.com, and make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, it's Nick Kayal. You know how important online privacy and security is these days, and that's why I started using a new subscription service called Privacy Pro from DuckDuckGo, and I wanted to share it with you. It's a simple-to-use 3-in-1 privacy and security subscription service that has everything I need to feel secure online. Plus, it's from DuckDuckGo, so you know it is legit. With Privacy Pro, DuckDuckGo's VPN secures your connection anytime, anywhere. Second, it has identity theft restoration if your identity gets stolen. DuckDuckGo Privacy Pro helps you restore it. And third, personal information removal. This one really blew my mind. Have you ever searched your name online and noticed how many sites are selling information about you? Try it yourself. Privacy Pro will help you remove your personal info from these creepy sites so they can't share or sell it. How cool is that? So for $9.99 per month, you get a VPN, identity theft restoration, and personal information removal. Honestly, it is a no-brainer. And as my listener, if you go to duckduckgo.com/1210, you'll get an exclusive 7-day free trial on me.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. If you're looking for a window of opportunity to replace the windows in your home, now's the time.
Right now at Window Nation, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There's no limit on how much you could save. Plus, you could save big with no interest or payments for 24 months. Call Window Nation today to schedule your fast, free in-home estimate or visit windownation.com.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Tahisha Way, New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor, with a message for New Jersey voters. You have 3 voting options in the general election. Vote in person on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th. Vote early in person Saturday, October 26th through Sunday, November 3rd. Or apply for, complete, and return a mail-in ballot. Whatever you choose, vote by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. Details at vote.nj.gov.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Holy cow.
That's right, Harry. Holy cow. It's Kayal and Company. 7:51. Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on a Monday. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Get on over to YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Because it is now time to officially begin a Monday edition of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the Cut Sheet?
What's on the Cut Sheet on this Monday? Sponsored by Cherry Hill Volvo. Right now, lease a 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. See store for details. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. All right, let's go to. We played a lot of the MSG Trump rally. We'll get back to that in a couple minutes, but I want to start with Trump on Joe Rogan. He was on Joe Rogan on Friday, and to my surprise, they released it that night.
Yeah, I was thinking like a Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. They did a quick turnaround for that. Sat down with him for 3 hours. Was late to his Michigan rally because he was sitting with Joe Rogan for 3 hours, and he even referenced that. He goes, "I know they're yelling at me back there, but I don't care. I'm going to keep doing this." All right, let's start with cut 7, Phil. Rogan asked what he feels like his biggest mistake as when he was president the first time was.
Okay.
This is cut 7. Phil, go.
The biggest mistake I made was I picked some great people, but you don't think about that. I picked some people that I shouldn't have picked. I picked a few people that I shouldn't have picked. And
neocons?
Yeah, neocons, or bad people, or disloyal people, or
people that were just
people
bad,
that were into the
people got bad advice.
Yeah, I mean, look, you reading about him a little bit today. A guy like Kelly, who was a bully, but a weak person. You know more about bullies than anybody probably around because you deal in a certain sport where the bullies are exposed very quickly.
Yeah.
But he's bad. Bolton was an idiot, but he was great for me because I'd go in with a guy like a John Bolton. John Bolton. A friend of mine called me up. I was picking Bolton, and he's a very smart guy. His name is Phil Ruffin. He's a very rich guy from Las Vegas. He's a great card player. He doesn't play cards, but he's a great player. He's just a natural. Got poker sense, right? The good old poker sense. And Phil Ruffin is a very, very wise kind of a guy, and one of the richest people around, and has had great success and understands people. So it was in that I was picking Bolton, or I picked Bolton. He called up. He said, "Don't pick him. Why? He's a bad guy." Now, he wasn't in politics at all. He's in various businesses. He said, "He's a bad guy. It always works out bad with that guy." I said, "Oh, man, I wish you told me this 2 weeks ago. I already hired him. He's here." And he was right. But he was good in a certain way. He's a nut job. And every time I had to deal with a country, when they saw this whack job standing behind me, they said, oh, man, Trump's going to go to war with us. He was with Bush when they went stupidly into the Middle East.
So I would say a couple of things. Number one, I think that's a very similar question that we asked when we had Trump on our show on May 10th.
It is, yeah.
Because there was a listener email that we were asking for submissions. We chose that one, and we asked him what he would basically do a second time around that's different. What I think the second time around that he has to do is he has to spend more time actually at the White House. If I recall correctly, the number is 19. Now, I don't know if it was Trump saying I spent 19 nights at the White House or 19 weekends at the White House in his first term. But I would say he has to, yes, selection of people matters. You got to find smart people. You got to find loyal people. The whole selection process has to be better. But I would spend more time. And you can sit there and say, well, Joe's on vacation 40% of the time. He's at the beach in Delaware every weekend. Yeah, but Joe's been in the swamp for 50 years. He knows the ins and outs. When you're an outsider and you don't have that inner working knowledge like a career politician does, I think you have to not ingratiate yourself, but you got to understand the lay of the land better. And I think by default he will, simply because he did it once before for 4 years.
On working with RFK Jr., because this is something that Joe Rogan wants him to do because he's friends with RFK Jr. on making America healthy again. Is the slogan that RFK Jr. wants to run on.
He's just a wang.
Sorry. felt right.
This is I have to play this. That's right, because they cursed. Joe Rogan cursed a lot in this interview.
Shocking.
This is cut 8. Phil, go.
And I love this "Make America Healthy Again" idea because there are chemicals and ingredients in our food that are illegal in other countries because they've been shown to be toxic. There's pesticides and herbicides, and there's a lot of that's been sprayed on our food that really is unnecessary. And there's a lot of health consequences that people are suffering from a lot of these things. And
I brought this chart for you.
Beautiful.
Because I had a feeling you'd be asking me.
Thank you.
Look at this chart. These are healthier countries. Look where the United States is. I'm going to send this to RFK Jr. Look at that.
This is, something along the... I was actually talking to RFK today, and he told me that more than 70% of young men are ineligible for the military because of their health.
Can you imagine that, by the way?
70%.
I wouldn't qualify. I'd get shot down right away, probably.
Well, you're 40.
Well, yes. But even if I was 28, based on everything physically with me, there's no chance I would be cleared to go.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct.
Can you imagine the good... If Trump's able to pull off this victory, and you have Bobby in there going after Big Pharma, and look, it's like draining the swamp. How much success you really can have, it's probably a limited quantity. But between that and Elon Musk, and I hate the fact that I'm probably jumping ahead on your cut sheet, but Elon Musk saying that I can trim off $2 trillion on the budget. I mean, the amount of garbage that those two individuals can just wash right out the front door and off the porch and off the front step in year one would be staggering. And those people are scared for their lives.
Yeah.
I read a story about a week ago in Politico that federal employees were bracing for the worst based on the fact that they believe that Trump has a legit chance to win and they could be out of a job very soon.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that as well?
I saw that story too.
Yeah.
By the way, I hate the Kennedys. Absolutely hate the Kennedys. But in all seriousness, like this initiative by RFK Jr. I love it. I think it's a winning one. It's one of my most important issues is the fact that we are killing ourselves. We are killing our children with the crap that we put into food.
Soft, chubby, fat-looking
Thank
children.
you, and it needs to be addressed. And if it's going to take somebody like RFK Jr., as much as I dislike him to do that, I'm 100% fine with it.
Agreed.
Let's keep going with this, Phil, if you will. Go.
I could see it.
That's
crazy. A lot of it's obesity.
So here's the life expectancy versus health expenditure.
Same chart.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
USA.
Wow,
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Jamie's the best.
He's very good.
He's the best. So,
but look at that. Look
at
what
the USA
is.
not good. And that's our food.
That
that's our diet. That's sedentary lifestyle. That's our diet. That's the chemicals we ingest.
Yep.
That's what that is.
But RFK is going to be very, I think he's a great guy.
I love the fact that you guys teamed up.
Yeah.
And are you completely committed to have him a part of your administration?
Oh, I am. But the only thing I want to be a little careful about with him is the environmental, because he doesn't like oil. I love oil and gas. I think
just keep him out of that.
To fire. So I'm going to sort of keep him out of a little. I said, focus on health. Focus. You can do whatever you want, but I got to be a little bit careful with the liquid gold.
I understand. But listen, there's plenty of good work that could be done if you focus on health.
Here's the one that.
By the way,
it's real simple, right? You're just Trump's going to drill, baby, drill. So Elon and Bobby, stay the hell out of my energy ideas.
I just feel like it's going to take somebody like RFK Jr. to get in there and mix things up and really make, because you're only ever going to get people in there who bow to Pfizer and bow to Big Pharma and bow to this. And it's like, well, we can, of course we can put these red dye number 9 or whatever these health things are, because we have a pill that we can sell you that'll make you feel better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's amazing. Like a bag of lettuce. Those pre-bagged salads that you can buy in the grocery store.
Yep.
It's amazing. You get an organic piece of produce, and that sucker's dead in about 3 days if you don't eat it. Yet all of a sudden you get a bag of it, and it lasts 17 days. I wonder how that's possible.
By the way, we're streaming live on YouTube. We have like over 500 people watching and only 129 likes. So please hit the like button. What is wrong with you? Hit the like button. What are we doing? Something you don't like? Hit the like button, please. It's all free. And also hit the subscribe button. What is wrong with you? Come on. I love this is my favorite part of Trump doing these podcasts, is that he then starts interviewing them because he's such a fan of, like, you can obviously tell he's a fan of Joe Rogan's work. He's interested in his mixed martial arts background. He's interested in his UFC and his friend. By the way, Dawn, I'm on a delay, but I see you mocking me in the camera.
I wasn't mocking you.
I saw you mocking me.
When?
I just saw you mocking me.
I was not mocking you.
It's fine.
I'm actually deleting. My Google thing is full, and I'm getting, they want me to buy more space. I wasn't mocking you. I'm clicking on the Google.
The hell with Google. Just use DuckDuckGo.
Permanently delete.
There you go.
I know. Well, that's why I'm
Exactly.
deleting the Google, because I'm going to DuckDuckGo.
This is cut 10, Phil. This is cut 10, where Trump starts interviewing Rogan. Go.
Would you have? Because what you're doing here is incredible. I mean, everybody tells me. All I noticed today, I'm going, you're on Joe Rogan today. People are telling me, like, I say, how the hell do you know that? But it's sort of, what you've done here is amazing. Where would you be if you didn't do the UFC stuff? Would you have this show, do you think?
Yeah, I would still be doing it for sure. Yeah.
Would it be at the same? Would it be at the same level?
I don't know.
But you would have.
It's hard to know. I think one of the things that works for this show, I guess, is that I'm involved in so many different things. Stand-up comedy, UFC, and all the interests that I have that lead to the podcast.
Will you always want to do First of all, you love UFC.
I love it. Yeah.
You love the fights. I mean, I watch you.
The Donald Trump podcast.
They could pay you nothing. It'd be very.
They didn't pay me anything for the first 13 shows. I did it for free because they were hemorrhaging money. And I became friends with Dana, and my position was, you're going to give me the best seat in the house. I get to sit cage side for the fights. I'll do it, and I wanted to help. I was like, I think these are the guys that we had always hoped for. In the early days of the sport, I started working for the company in 1997. I was before the UFC was purchased by Zuffa, which Dana worked for.
Wow.
So I was a part of the previous owners. And I only did it for a couple of years. It was just too much, and I was losing money. And it was banned from cable because of Budweiser and John McCain, and you could only get it on DirecTV. And then
I came along and I gave him the sites.
You did, and he loved
you. And he never
that.
forgot.
No, it's getting real deep now. A lot of double ego stroking, but no, I think that actually works really well because Trump loves to take control and then become the guy doing the interviewing, and I think Rogan likes that because he's being stroked there. But I would say this: think about this, how good Trump is. We've talked about this in the podcast setting, whether it's Rogan now, Theo Von, you name it. He's done a bunch of podcasts. I think some credit has to go towards his kid Barron and the other young whippersnapper that have been advising him to reach the young people out there. What is it, Bo? What's that kid's name?
Loudon.
Bo Loudon, right? So, and how much of that's the kid, how much of that is the campaign people, I'm not sure. But when this thing is over, and let's say whether win or lose, tell me Trump doesn't have a future like doing a podcast. If you are one of these outlets, I would throw $20 million a year at him easily.
Before Howard Stern went against him, Howard Stern admitted that Trump was probably his best guest.
Yeah.
So like he's fabulous in these.
Yes.
He's fabulous in these situations.
You're one of these big corporations that has all that money to throw around. Hey, one podcast a week, $20 million. Are you in, POTUS?
By the way, I listened to the entire 3 hours this weekend.
Me too.
God bless you. I perused clips.
I felt like I had to hear it. I felt like I had to be in the know because I knew we were going to play a lot of clips. So I'm glad, Nick, you decided.
I'm reacting live on the
not to do your homework.
Yes.
Which I really appreciate. You decided to gamble on sports over the weekend
You're
instead.
Right. Yeah.
Duly noted.
Decided to take the weekend off, as you've been advising for many years now. Just disconnect, man. Go out there and live your life. Get off Twitter. I still get ripped. I can't win, folks. No matter what I do.
Trump and Rogan go off on the corrupt mainstream media. This is cut 9, Phil. Go.
It's a creepy, corrupt business, and the media, to a large extent, acts as a propaganda arm for the Democratic Party.
It's not even believable.
Yeah, it's bizarre to watch, and most young people, I think, are aware of it. I think most boomers still, unfortunately, read the newspapers and believe in CNN.
But it's getting younger. Let me
Yes.
tell you, it's getting for us, for a conservative.
Yes.
And I consider myself a person.
It's the internet. It's because the internet's giving
so.
people information that they're not getting from anywhere else. And they like the Very Fine People hoax, the Russiagate hoax, all these different things that they've done. They tried to pin on you. That's like it's a clear distortion of what you actually said.
The bloodbath hoax.
Yeah,
I was talking about the auto industry.
Yes.
It's a bloodbath because Japan and China are taking our auto. And I said, it's a bloodbath. They said, he used the word bloodbath.
He said, if you don't win, it's going to be a bloodbath because they're going to take over. That's exactly what you said.
It's a terrible thing they do.
But that's the problem with propagandists because they take things out of context, and ultimately what they do is they diminish their own credibility because people don't want to listen to them anymore because they see that they've done that and they recognize what's going on and they feel insulted.
By the way, this Rogan did a good job on this interview of... I'm playing a lot of sycophantic cuts, but he did a good job of keeping him in line with the questioning. Like he would bring him back. Like Trump would veer off into the thing. He says, "No, let's talk. Let's stay focused on this one subject."
Right, which is very hard to keep people,
And he did press him about 2020 and him saying that he won, and he asked where the evidence was and all kinds of stuff. So Rogan did a very good job, I think.
You have guys like Trump at times likes the color outside of the lines. So Rogan's trying to make sure that he stays within the lines. And when you talk about this whole media thing. You have the left-wing media; it's all bought and paid for. But then you have propaganda is the key word. You have the propagandists on the right as well that put out a bunch of stuff that's not true either.
Yep.
There are very, very few people out there that give you their honest opinion. I'd like to think that this is one of those shows. I think Rogan, for the most part, does. But as much as Rogan is popular, I'm still turned off by the fact that he kind of walked back the whole Trump-Bobby Kennedy thing. Remember we were talking about towards the end of the summer?
Yep.
Like, dude, grow a set, bro.
Well,
you make $17 million a year.
I think he was hoping to get him on. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And by the way, in the interview he says that he believes Rogan believes that the reason Trump did the Rogan podcast was because of Dana White. Dana White told him.
Could be. I mean, they have a great relationship apparently. I know Dana White mentioned it last night during the rally that they've had a 25-year relationship.
Yep. Rogan and Trump on the rebels. The rebels being the Republicans now. This is cut 11. Phil, go.
The rebels are Republicans now. They're like, you want to be a rebel, you want to be punk rock, you want to buck the system. You're a conservative now. That's how crazy. And then the liberals are now pro silencing criticism. They're pro censorship online. They're talking about regulating free speech and they're regulating the First Amendment. It's bananas to watch.
Joe, they come after their political opponent.
Well, they
I
do.
got more guys. I always say, I kid, but I'm not kidding. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the meanest of them all. He'd kill you in 2 seconds if he didn't like you, right? I've been under investigation more than Alphonse Capone, only because it's political opponent stuff. And I've won. I won the big case in Florida. I'm winning the other stuff. You win, but you know what they did? They did something that's only done in third world countries. They came after their political opponent.
Yes.
I could have put crooked Hillary in jail.
Well, not only that, but they're weaponizing it by saying that that's what you're going to do once you get in office.
Isn't it great?
By ignoring what they're doing right now. It's crazy.
I heard it. Somebody was defending me today. They said, no, they say that's what you're doing to him. They're going, he's going to put us in jail. He's going to invest.
That's what you're doing.
That's what you're doing to him.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, will you do that? Will you do that to him, to them, if you win? You know, the presidency has tremendous power. I could have put crooked Hillary
I
in
respected
jail.
that you didn't, because what you said was it would be bad for the country.
Yeah, it would be a terrible precedent. And even though they've done all this over the last 4 years, it would still be awful if he retaliates should he get in. But when we talk about investigations, think about this. They've investigated Elon Musk ever since he purchased Twitter and has aligned himself with Trump. You have the Bobby Kennedy, Olivia Newsy story. There was the Tulsi Gabbard investigation about a month or so ago, if you recall. Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, Bobby Kennedy. Now they're even investigating Eric Adams. Eric Adams, the left-wing Democrat mayor of New York that they loved. And then all of a sudden, Eric Adams has the common sense to speak up and say, hey, this whole migrant and immigration crisis that we're dealing with in my city is getting a little ridiculous. All of a sudden, the feds show up and investigate him.
By the way, we've been suspended on YouTube.
Because of Rogan?
Yeah, which I don't understand, because YouTube released the entire Rogan interview before Spotify had it.
Yep.
Are you supposed to give him a credit or something?
No, I don't know. It's okay. Phil, can you work on getting that back up there? Everybody move over to the Odyssey app.